And so, the results of Ireland's 2018 presidential election are finally in. It's no surprise that the incumbent, sitting President Michael D. Higgins, won comfortably and has been elected to a second term of 7 years as President of Ireland. Aside from an occasional tendency to celebrate third world dictators, Higgins overall conducted himself well in the role. He's a good public speaker, a seasoned parliamentary politician, and, most of all, he knows the importance of doing little, but doing it very well. This is no mean feat, in contrast to the embarrassing, inappropriate conduct of Ireland's Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, a narcissistic fantasist whose weird and juvenile carry-on, alongside some very questionable, indiscreet remarks about his actions as a cabinet minister, show that Varadkar lacks a basic grasp of appropriate public behaviour.
Congratulations, Michael D. Higgins. Really happy that you will continue to be our president for the next 7 years.
Fuck off and die, cranium reptile freak. Everyone hates you. This is above and beyond the corruption, lies, incompetence and bullying of his failed government, their indifference to which is angering the Irish public more and more and more. Anyway, it's no real surprise that Higgins won, with the largest first preference percentage of any returning Irish president. This is not by any means the full story, and the political establishment of Ireland has already begun to negate and undermine the man who really did well from this election, Peter Casey. It is most likely just a coincidence that, as of today, it's so difficult to get a basic breakdown of the presidential election result on one card. So here it is. Out of 1,473,900 properly cast votes, Michael D. Higgins got 822,566 votes. Higgins got more than 50% of the total first count, so he was immediately declared elected on that first count. And so, there was no need to count any second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth preference votes. In an interesting way, this final result is very valuable because it allows a quick and clear snapshot of public sentiment, without any addition from the second to sixth preferences. An Irish presidential election is like no other vote in the Republic, because unlike elections to the local authorities, Dáil and Seanad, the presidential vote is taken as one count from across the entire Republic of Ireland. Therefore, far from the mainstream notion that such an election is of little significance, in fact it is a very valuable national measurement of genuine public sentiment. It is perhaps worth remembering that the mainstream political parties tried their best to avert any public election of the president this time, on the delusion that, because Higgins was supposedly so good, there was no need for a public vote. Only because rogue independents twisted the arm of local authorities did Ireland get any public vote at all this time. Again, Higgins's win is no big deal in the circumstances, not least of which was the overall dire competition he faced. Bagmen, terrorist sympathisers, right-wing quangocrats, and other such chancers made a six-candidate election look like an easy one-horse race. Nothing to see here, the establishment was right all along, this vote was a waste of time, a waste of public money, and all the rest of it. Then Peter Casey spoke out, with remarks criticising Irish government policy on the travelling community. Casey's remarks weren't racist or insightful, but they were clumsy, inarticulate and crass. And they were immediately followed by the usual outraged parties making demands that Casey apologise, withdraw what he said, and withdraw from the presidential election. Casey refused, and stood over what he had said. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, never shy to state an unsolicited and unwelcome opinion on a subject of which he has no knowledge or real interest, called upon the Irish electorate to withhold their votes from Peter Casey. It's not hard to predict what came next. Once Casey spoke out and refused to back down, but especially once Varadkar scolded him in that particularly irritating goody two-shoes, geeky, school prefect nerd way that Varadkar has made his own, Casey was set up. Remember, none of the 5 other candidates ever had any chance of beating Higgins. Casey knew this. So did the electorate. For a chancer like Peter Casey to have got 1/5 of the public vote in this presidential election is a remarkable achievement. The golf clubs of Ireland are full of grumpy old men like Peter Casey, armchair lawyers laying down the law on what they'd do if they had their way, and so on and so forth. Everyone knows this. Very few people viewed Casey as a credible candidate to become head of state of the Republic of Ireland. But this doesn't matter. People just wanted to register a protest vote. People are sick to the teeth of being lectured all the time by do-gooders and overpaid vested interest lobbyists, including politicians. All across the Western world, including Europe and North America, electorates sense that they are gatecrashers at a globalist party to which they are unwelcome. Peter Casey tapped into this sentiment in Ireland, a country where the government of Leo Varadkar continually refuses to consider the most basic political demands of its people, while simultaneously having the cheek to lecture ordinary, hard-working citizens on why they must fill in more forms, pay more taxes, have less security in the workplace, tolerate shoddy infrastructure run by overpaid buffoons, and such like. When faced by a zero, people will jump at anything better, and this is why Peter Casey got such an impressive result. One can only imagine what it would be like if Casey had actually been a credible candidate.